Just when you think it can't get worse, it did. What's going on, Rangers fans? Welcome to yet another edition of From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure you follow us on X and Instagram at BlueSeats94 and use the hashtag BlueSeats to chat with us on any and all topics at hand. You can also send us fan mail from the Blue Seats at gmail.com. That's from the Blue Seats at gmail.com. Also, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and subscribe on all audio platforms, and be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. Funny story real quick before we actually get started here. I was actually supposed to have this episode out yesterday, January 12th. I had everything all recorded, ready to go, and I listened to the preview and I thought, sounds good. So I download it and I put it in my editing software. And for some reason, my editing software has this glitch where it won't have the audio show up for a good solid 30 seconds. And it had that issue again, I thought. So I said, okay, I'll give it 30 seconds and see where it goes. 30 seconds goes by, no audio shows up. So I go back, hit the play button, and what do I notice? There's no audio. None at all. I listened back to the preview, and it was fine. But for some unknown reason, when I downloaded it, the audio got corrupted. So that's why this episode is a day later than usual. So I'm really, really sorry about that. Technical difficulties, I get it, they happen. But it was particularly frustrating because I got a lot of frustration out. But maybe this is a blessing in disguise because I do have a teeny bit more to say than what I did in the last recording that I did. So with that being said, what more can you even say about this season, man? I mean, it really does feel like, not even just for my show, but I'm sure for every other Rangers radio show or podcast out there, including the ones on this fine network, the Hockey Podcast Network, I feel like every single show, including mine, has been talking about the same damn thing almost every episode. And that's the fact that they can't score, they can't defend, they can't build off big wins. They literally can do nothing right. They can't. And we outline these issues every damn episode. This season, at least. And some points of last season, although last season, at least you can say there were a lot more good flashes than there are this year. And at least with last year, you can say, oh, they were right in the middle of the playoff race last year, and they just missed out at the end of the year. You can't say that this year. You can't. This Ranger team, look, I know I've contradicted myself a couple of times on this show because on one hand, I've said I can't see them making the playoffs as a wildcard team, and at some points I've said they're not a playoff team, and I know in the last episode I said I can see them getting there as a wildcard team. But now I'm officially on the mindset that this New York Ranger team, they're not making the playoffs. They're not doing a damn thing this year. What evidence have they shown you that they're a playoff team? There is no evidence. The only evidence there is that they're a 500 team, but you know what? They're playing worse than that. You want to know how bad things have gotten for the New York Rangers this year? 2 things. Number 1, my amazing girlfriend, Marcella, who I know listens to this show. She is not a hockey fan by any stretch of the imagination. And you know what? I accept that. It's okay. I wouldn't want her to go through the frustrations that I am this year. But that's beside the point. My girlfriend came with me to a couple of games last year. She came with me to the game against the Ducks in October, which they won. And she came with me to the game against the Seattle Kraken in December, where they almost came back and won, but they ended up losing. But she looked at one game this year. I forget which game it was exactly. I think it was a game against the Sharks, who at the time had no wins, and they lost to them in overtime at MSG, 6-5. She looked at that game, and they said, are they really that bad? And I said, honey, if they lose to a team that had no wins coming into this game, then yes, they are that bad. And sure enough, here we are, almost 3 months left of the season, and they're still a bad hockey team. Now, I will give the Sharks this, though. At least they're exciting, and they are surprising everybody in the league right now. That team is young, they're scrappy, they're fast. This Ranger team is the opposite. They're old, they're slow, there's no hustle, they can't shoot. It literally is, it's really, really frustrating. But that's point number one. Point number two is that, look, I know I do this show, I have to cover the team, and I have to watch every single game so that I can detail what's going on to the best of my ability. But it's come to the point where I am slowly starting to lose motivation to watch these games. I really am. And I never thought I would say that because I am one that literally does watch every single game every time the season starts. But at this point, the Rangers are so bad, I don't feel like watching because I know the outcome of what's going to happen almost every damn night. Take their last game against Seattle yesterday, January 12th. They jump out to a 2-0 lead early, the Rangers do. You see Mika Zibanejad, who has been on fire recently. He scores yet again. And then, a few minutes later, Sam Carrick, who by the way is not known for being a goal scorer, just so we're clear on that for those that may not know. Sam Carrick gets his second of the year, they jump out 2-0, and you're thinking, oh wow, okay. They actually are pissed off that they got embarrassed on national television by the Boston Bruins in their last game 10-2, which by the way, that was egregious, by the way, worst game I ever saw. But they're up 2-0, you said, ooh, they're coming out aggressive. Hey, maybe they can actually rebound from this. They went on to lose 4-2 to the Seattle Kraken. The New York Rangers have a ton of problems this year, but the two main things that are glaring to me is that A, they cannot build off big wins, and B, they can't rebound from getting embarrassed. When they lost 10-2 to the Boston Bruins, in which, by the way, they had two players score a hat trick that game. Not one, but two players scored a hat trick. Pavel Zacha, and I forget the other player. I think he was some player I never heard of. But anyway, after that game, I literally said, it can't get worse. There's no way in hell that they can go out there and lose again. But then I remember they played at home against Seattle, and they suck at home. And look, again, they go up 2-0, and you're thinking good things again. And they go out and give up 4 unanswered goals, including an empty netter, and they lose. And you hear chants of fire jury up from the crowd, and it's just so freaking frustrating. I really do not know what more I can say or even add to the frustration that is the 2025-2026 New York Rangers. This is their 100th year in the National Hockey League. Not the AHL, not the ECHL, heck, not even the WHL. This is the National Hockey League. And you are literally playing like a pee-wee hockey team. Every single night, we see the same damn thing. That is why I am losing motivation to not watch these games anymore. But I know I have to because I do this show and I do this for you because I love you guys. I truly, truly do. I truly love and appreciate all of my listeners and viewers who take time out of their day to listen or watch me ramble on about this team on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It really does mean the world to me, and I love you for it. But aren't you sick and tired of hearing the same damn thing over and over and over again? every time I come on the air or any other Rangers show comes on the air and says the same damn thing, aren't you sick of it? I know you are. And I'm sick of talking about it every time this year. But that's where we're at. Because that's the theme this year. That is the theme. And unfortunately, I do not see it changing. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State, which means you can place a bet on anything going on in the NHL. And new customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
And I never thought I'd actually utter these words out of my mouth. But ladies and gentlemen, this season is over. It's over. I never thought I'd say that in January, but think about it. They are consistently inconsistent. You lost Igor Shesterkin, who may not be back until the Olympic break. Adam Fox may not be back until after the Olympic break. And you're a team that just is awful on scoring. They're awful on the power play. They're awful on the penalty kill. They're awful on 5-on-5. They're awful everywhere. Except for one person who I refuse to blame. And that's Mike Sullivan. I really don't know what people want out of Mike Sullivan when he was given a roster like this. What do you want him to do? Really, I mean, Mike Sullivan was just brought here. He's not going anywhere. So for those that want Sullivan kicked out, he's not going anywhere. He was just brought here, okay? And quite frankly, this season is not on him. I've always said this. At what point do we start blaming the players for not doing their job? The only player who I can really say, well, two to an extent, but the only players who I can really say have been at least trying up to this point in the year are Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin. But other than that, who else can you rely on? Nobody's doing a damn thing. Nobody. There's no hustle on this team either. Have you ever noticed how whenever there's a loose puck in center ice and there's nobody in the vicinity on the opposing team, no Ranger player hustles to get there? Have you ever noticed that? Because it's happened one too many times. I refuse to blame Mike Sullivan for this year. I'm not blaming him one bit. You know who I do blame? I blame the players for not trying. And I blame Chris Drury. Chris Drury has to go. There's no other way around it. I'm sorry. Chris Drury was a good player, a good captain for the Rangers, but he's not a good GM. I'm sorry, he's not. And the fact that James Dolan went on New York airwaves on WFAN and defended Chris Drury and said, oh, let's have some patience. They're trying to build a culture here. Have some patience with what? With what? Have some patience with the team that he built that looks like a peewee team right now? We're supposed to have patience with that? And I know what you're probably going to tell me. What more do you want James Dolan to say? I get it. I don't expect him to go on the air and absolutely bash Chris Drury. I don't expect him to do that. But can we have some accountability? Even JT Miller, who I really like personally, and I had no problem with him being named captain at first, because when he came over in the trade from Vancouver last year, he was excellent. But this year, Now, granted, he has been hurt, but this year, he's not been good at all. And not even he is holding anybody accountable. And look, I get it. The last game against the Bruins, he said it was so embarrassing it makes you want to puke. Well, have you thought about that all of this season? Not just that one game? Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? Your team should make you want to puke. You should make yourself want to puke. Because, quite frankly, you're not doing a damn thing this year to help your team. Nobody's helping anybody. That's not a coaching problem, okay? That's a player problem. There is no chemistry on this team. The season is over, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I really hate saying that in January, but the season is over. And because that's my personal opinion, there's a few things I would do. Number one, obviously, fire Chris Drury. I mean, the man has to go. There's no question about it. Number two, I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, as decent as he's been this year, I would probably trade Panarin. I would trade him. He's going to be a free agent after this year anyway. You can at least see what you can get. You could probably get a really good haul back for Panarin. You could get a couple of firsts, maybe a 2 and a player. You could get something really good back for Panarin. So I would fire Chris Drury. I would trade Panarin. And truthfully, as much as I've defended him, I would trade Alexis Lafreniere. I'm done with him. How long do we have to wait to see the Alexis Lafreniere from 22-23? Really? How long do we have to wait to see him again? Now, he's still a young kid, but at this point, I really do not think it's going to end up working here in New York for him. I really don't. So I would trade Lafreniere and see what you can get for him. And maybe, just maybe, you can at least explore the opportunity of shopping Mika Zibanejad. I'm not saying trade him. Me personally, I would actually keep Zibanejad around because he's actually been very good this year. But I would at least explore the opportunity of shopping him and see what other teams offer. But me personally, I'd keep him. Unless I see some miracle pulled out of Chris Drury's hat during the trade deadline or the offseason, I want him out. I don't see that miracle happening, though. So, Chris Drury, he's got to go. And by the way, speaking of the trade deadline, I keep hearing that the Rangers are supposedly going all in on Kiefer Sherwood. Really? That's your answer? Kiefer Sherwood? Now, Sherwood is not a scrub. He can play. But you really think that's going to solve all your issues? To hell with that. No. And if you do end up getting him, I'm very curious as to see who the Rangers trade away to get Kiefer Sherwood. If they end up doing that and they trade Panarin for him, I will actually laugh in the Rangers' face. You do not trade Artemi Panarin for some dude named Kiefer Sherwood. That's not your answer? Really? Look, I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But, look, if they do end up trading for him, okay, I guess we'll see if it works. And look, they could trade for him and he could end up being better than we think. But it's not going to solve everything. So, would I personally trade for Kiefer Sherwood? No, I wouldn't. And if you do, there's gotta be more than that deal. And until I see that from Chris Drury, which I doubt, he's gotta go. Period. End of sentence. But look, the bottom line of all of this is that I think the Rangers season is over. They're not making the playoffs. Chris Drury has to go. Panarin's got to be traded. Lafreniere's got to be traded. Zibanejad has to at least be shopped. But me personally, again, I would keep him around. And they need to find an identity. Not this year, because this year there's no identity whatsoever. They've been trying to find that forever. But next year, they truly need to find their true identity. What kind of team are they? Are they going to be an offensive powerhouse? Or are they going to be a defensive stalwart? What are you? Or are you going to be an all-around team? Pick one. Find your identity. But until I see it, this Ranger team is not doing a damn thing. This Ranger team is the true definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting something to change. Nothing is changing. Nothing. Yes, you're going to see some wins, and they'll probably be the dramatic ones. But at this point, don't expect them to build off those wins, because it ain't happening. Not with the way this team's playing. This Ranger team ain't doing a damn thing this year. I'm sorry. The season is over. That's just my opinion, though. What say you? Do you think the Rangers season is over, or do you still have a glimmer of hope that they can make the playoffs? And what do you want to see happen from the Rangers at the trade deadline or the offseason? I know it's a bit early to say that, but let me know in the comments down below on YouTube and on all social media at BlueSeats94. Use hashtag BlueSeats and make sure you follow us there as well. Helps us a lot. Also, leave a like on YouTube and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified of all episodes that are posted. Also, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to rate us 5 stars. It would mean the world to us. I hope the wait was worth it for this episode. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that made this a day later, but I hope it was worth it. And I want to hear from you. Do you think the Rangers season is over? Or are you still hanging on to a glimmer of hope? Let's hear from you. I'm Jimmy Fanizzi. This is From the Blue Seats, a New York Rangers podcast presented by DraftKings. No matter what, go Blue Shirts, and we'll catch you next time. Peace!